Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Now, it's getting kind of late, and I wasn't too sure if I should, put out the video or just make a post and be like, I'm just going to post tomorrow. Um, but I was still going to watch the episode. And just be like, it's kind of late. I know a lot of people probably won't stay up to watch the video, so I'll just post tomorrow. But I got to sit there and say that I genuinely did really enjoy this episode. Days have not been hitting the same since the whole Abigail's death and everything like that. And so, on one hand, I get it, very grieving time, very sad time, and everything like that. On the other hand, I'm just a little kind of just, I can't do it anymore. Like, I really can't do it anymore. Like, the crying, the sadness, just the whole atmosphere, it's just, I don't want to sit there and say it's a downer because somebody did actually die, but it's, it's a lot, you know? And it just doesn't put me in a good mood when I'm watching it, you know? So Sierra comes by, well, Sierra and Rafe escort Julie and Doug back to the house, back to their place. But Sierra's like, I had another reason for, escorting you guys home and everything like that, and I want to break news to you. And the news is she's leaving Salem. Her and Ben are leaving Salem to travel around the world, and eventually they'll come back. Now, there were people that they're reading because some people were snitching saying, they're leaving the show, and then there was other people who's like, no, they're not. They're just going to be in Beyond Salem. And I'm like, yeah, well, Trip is in Beyond Salem. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's coming back to the show right away, or if at all. Um, so if you've seen clips of Beyond Salem, they're going to be in it. But again, Trip is going to be in it also. And I have this feeling like they're actually going to be leaving the show. You know, the way that Sierra's that they're talking to Doug and Julie about traveling around the world, and really breaking the news to Julie, which is she's already heartbroken about so many people leaving. Um, Abigail's death, Lonnie and Eli, the twins leaving. It's a lot. Okay, it's a lot. And again, on top of that, Abigail's death. So also Ben is there talking to Clyde about him leaving and traveling around the world, and he's heartbroken about that. But he's also like, what's going to go on my pro? Ben said that Sierra's going to talk to Romans this way he can have a place to stay and he can, he can still not violate his pro. Now later on in the episode, Nancy, because Clyde is like, yeah, I don't know about him. I don't know if he wants me to stay here. Like, I don't know if that's going to be a sure thing. And Nancy's like, listen, if anything happens, then I'll take responsibility towards you. And here's the thing: I feel like Nancy at this point, she's lonely. I don't want to sit there and say she's desperate because I do believe in. There was one point where Nancy Smith is talking to Marlena about Clyde. The mere mention of Clyde. I mean Clyde Weston? Oh, you heard of him. Did you not see the look on her face? Not only did she not hear of this guy, but that's not the look of happy at all. Um, Nancy Smith is talking about redemption and second chances, and especially when it comes towards parolees and things of that nature, like, you do believe in second chances and stuff like that, and people can change. And I was like, well, that is a case by case, as a case by case basis. And of course, she brings up she brings up Ben and how Ben turns his life around. She's like, yeah, I honestly tell you, I felt like she just did not want to upset her, given everything that she went through. She's taking therapy sessions with her, the whole Craig thing. Girl's going through a lot, Okay? And the last thing that Marlena wants to do is burst her little delusional bubble. But when Nancy was like, "Oh, look at the jewelry that Clyde got me," I didn't want to sit there and show it off at the funeral because I felt like it was too flash and it would be insensitive. The look on Marlena's face was like, what, how much bank is he actually pulling at that grill? That's number one. Number two, I don't know if she knows about the whole murder case and stuff like that as far as the jewelry being missing, but the fact that Clyde was able to get her something like that, it was already just red flags. Now, most people would be like, Marlena, why did you not say anything? You honestly tell me if Marlena said anything, then she would sit there and, you know, she would listen or anything like that. She's already, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's already championing for this guy, and she's only known for, like, maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks or whatever. So I doubt that even if Marlena did say something, then Nancy would listen. I don't know how to feel about Ben and Clyde's relationship because, it was very heartfelt and, Ben was, crying a little bit and, he talked about the ups and down times that he had with his dad. And, when he comes back, he wants to pick up right where they left off at. He's proud of his dad for changing his life around and finding a girlfriend and being serious and things of that nature. So, it was hugs and tears and everything like that. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, when I heard that Clyde used to physically abuse Ben when he was younger, I mean, yeah, granted, you look at their relationship now and it's great, but I feel like there's certain things that I just can't get past. I can't do it. I can't just sit there and be like, nah. And granted, I know some people will sit there and be like, I forgive you. You don't necessarily do it for them. You do it for yourself. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to get to a point where I feel like somebody did something so wrong that I'm going to forgive them for myself. Part of it has to do with a petty nature. The other part of me just has to do with I just can't let certain things ride. So, the whole hugging and everything like that, I'm just like, you know, when it comes to his crappy parents or crappy dads, certain things I could be like, you know what? You didn't really pay attention to him that much when he was a kid. You had your own issues. You were neglectful. You weren't in a life. You had your children compete for your affection. Okay, they're all bad, but they're not unforgivable. They're not fully that. The hitting part is sort of the same thing with Paulina forgiving Ray for him assaulting her. That's not something that I feel you could just let go. You know. Um, of course, afterwards, Nancy was like, "We can stay." Showed off jewelry. Rafe walked in that bar like, where'd you get that from? I'm looking at Clyde. I was like, Clyde, you goddamn idiot. You gotta sit there and just get stolen jewelry and give it to this girl, and she just blinging it up in Roman's bar. I mean, granted, what's the odds that a cop is going to be there? But she is flashing that thing around town. Okay? At some point, she's going to sit there and be like, hey, Chloe, look at my new jewelry. And Chloe's going to be like, how did Clyde actually get that? He robbed a bank or stagecoach or something? Like, how did you get that money from? Like, where do you get it from? Um, Now, I'm going to be completely, well, I know that characters come and go all the time. I remember the actress that Hope, she was going, she was going back at critics because, they took her words out of context. Hope never said, or the actress never said that she wouldn't come back. She didn't want to come back and do the back and forth like some of the other actors on the show. There's a lot of characters that go, they leave, they go, they leave. Jan Spears and Kristen is among many of them, along with Sammy. He didn't want to do that. So they're trying to think of where I'm actually going with this. Now, it's just so odd that you have six actors that are gone. Abby left. Um, oh no, five. Abby left. Eli and Lonnie left. Now Ben and Sierra and Trip. No, yeah, that's six. It's like it was somebody else. Six actors just gone. I mean, seriously, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. Um, and maybe I'm still feeling that way because of the show Legacies. There's a CW that I'm still mad about. But when the actors start leaving one after the other, almost in drones, it was a red flag. Especially considering that the director or the producer of the show also decided to go on the Peacock network and create something that was, or start to join something that was very similar. My point is, it's red flags, and I ain't liking it. Now, I hope it's nothing, but I guess time will tell. So Orpheus lets Christian or Evans in a little bit on the plan. Tells Christian that Jan is supposed to get some numbers from Sean into the PD mainframe. Once they're inside, they can get access to all sorts of different records and things of that nature. And, you know, they'll be out of jail within weeks or months. And of course, after they get what they need, Jan Spears can just, she can disappear. Now, one of the, when Jan Spears and Sean go to see the baby, holding the baby and everything like that, and Jan Spears like, oh, I know it's not just saying that he looks like me, but he looks a lot like you, and Sean is sitting there looking at that child like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really see a lot of men there. Nope, not really seeing it. And of course, Janet's like, well, you don't really see a lot of features. They're like alien babies, but they're going to soon look more like you. So I was like, yeah, that's it. Now, Orpheus also was like, I'm going to give her a burner phone, and I'm going to give her a command, and she has like 5 minutes or whatever to get to the phone in a safe way, and, she can get the code. So Jan Spears, Jan, I don't know why I call it Jan Spears. Jan Spears sent Sean on, to get some more food because, hospital food tastes like ass. Sean leaves, Orpheus calls, and Orpheus is like, listen, I'm just going to remind you, you screw me over, it's not going to end well. Give me the password. So she starts giving the password. She was like, oh, I got it all memorized. And she's like, oh, it's a sideways winky face. Took him a second to kind of realize what the hell is she talking about. And of course, she was like, listen, if you screw me over, because he already knew the name of that child. First, middle, and last name. She's like, how is that? I got eyes and ears everywhere. Hell, he actually made me laugh when he was talking to Christian. He was like, he called himself a criminal mastermind. And like, is this guy like Luther? Like, what? Um, you know, a subscriber named Shakira sent me couple of old videos of days, the crew with Orpheus and Clyde and Xander and everything like that. And, right then and there, I was like, I knew that Orpheus was the brains behind whatever scheme, whatever the good old boys was up to. Orpheus was behind it. Um, and to this day, sometimes I kind of kick myself because I'm like, man, that show is really good. I'm like, this show is really good. And I can only imagine, like, when I see some of the clips and things of that nature, how good this show, characters and everything like that. And I love this show now. And I'm just like, what it would have been like if I would have been watching more days than GH. How would I actually feel about GH? You know? I mean, to be fair, when I first started watching soaps, it was more like Lev. Let me see if I missed anything. Still can't believe so many people are leaving. I mean, granted, I can't say for sure if Ben and Sierra are leaving, but the way that they kept sending this and their goodbyes to everyone, Sierra even went to go see Sean, telling her, that she's leaving. And the way she did it with Julie, she was like, yeah, I'm leaving. Oh, when are you leaving? Tomorrow? What the But I knew, I think is she knew that if she would have told them beforehand, then she would have probably been getting a lot of grief and she would have felt really bad and everything like that. But, they respected her and they let her leave. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I don't think I really missed too much of anything. But um, I know this video came out super late. The Wi-Fi was just also being asked, and that the Peacock network was definitely not helping at all. Um, so that was kind of annoying. But I actually have the day off tomorrow. So I'm hoping that my video, fingers crossed, is going to be a lot sooner, obviously a lot sooner than it coming out at like 10:30 at night. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next video.